yeah, today we're going to be doing some more work on compose and minimize app we're building. Yeah, so the last week we did three streams. We did a bunch of some refactoring, we did some tests, and just kind of had a look around the screen and some tidying up, and probably going to be a continual theme for a bit. So what I'm hoping to do today is at least start. I mean, I've started a few minutes late, so I've only got like 25 minutes, but I think what I want to do is start tidying some of this stuff up. All the parameters that come in from when the composables are constructed. So just to jump over where this happens, have my creation fragment, which is if I click the fab, which is the fragment that holds all of these slides or screens, and this passes in all the functions from the view model, and then the composables can trigger those functions, and the view model can receive the events. It works, and originally I did that because I only had a couple of functions. This did the same thing on the authentication screen, and it was really simple. And now it's got to the point where it's a bit much. There's a bit much going on. It's not very maintainable. And to be honest, if I start adding more screens, I don't really want to have to do this in future because it's, like I said, I think it's very maintainable and it's a bit difficult to follow. So yeah, I've been thinking about how I can improve that and how we can sort of tidy it up a bit. So we're going to start that today. I'm not sure if I get it all done today, maybe we can continue it tomorrow. But yeah, I was looking around at some other compose projects, and there's a project by Chris Bain on TV, and there's some stuff in there which quite interested me. Using like sealed classes as events for composables, so the composables will trigger events, and the view models can capture those events and use them. And that's cool because it means you only have to have a single function which takes an event as its argument. So that would be, instead of a string, that would be event, it's going to be events. And then the view model receives those and can handle them accordingly. So the composable doesn't really care about all these separate functions, it just cares about an event and passes that event and can be handled however. It also makes it much more flexible, like in future, if we come to, I don't know what the future of Android is going to be like, but if we come to change the way we interact with view models or anything here changes, we don't use these specific view models anymore, and we become less dependent on these specific functions, and we kind of just abstracting out those events. It probably makes it easier to test as well, especially currently we go over to the test as well, wherever they are. Yeah, so if we go over to the test at the moment, you can notice that I'm only passing in the view state, and that to mark all these as nullable, just so the tests were kept tidy. And that even this in itself screams to me like, Joe, you need to sort this out. This is getting out of hand. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to start tidying that up. And what I want to start doing with is we're create a new class creation event. Yeah. And this can really be, I think this can be a sealed class. I think it can be, maybe my changes are going on. Let's see how Chris did it. Yeah, so Chris had this. Oh, I called it an action. Yeah, it's the same thing. Seal class, yeah. And then each one has. Yeah. Okay. I think we could do something similar to that. I think it makes sense. I think it's quite nice, a nice way of doing it. So we'll start doing that today, and we'll see how far we get. So we'll start with on name change. So this is when the user enters a name, and we want to send that back to the view model. Again, this is because our view model is holding our state, and maybe this will change in future, but I'm kind of trying to keep the state management inside of the view model and not inside of the composables. Otherwise we'll end up with some state in the view model, some state in the composables, and it's kind of, I want to keep that single source of truth. Maybe I'll change that in future, but for now I don't want to start refactoring two things at the same time. because that'll get messy. So we call that name string, and we'll have a creation event. Probably should fix that as well. Cool. So name changed. Maybe we could do this. Yeah, that's a bit better. Cool. Categories changed. So categories changed. This is going to be a list of strings. Go to categories. So let's do 2 for now, and we'll come back and do the others just so you don't have to watch me type out all these different things. So what we'll do is here, I guess we want to take a new argument that's a function that returns one of these creation events. And we'd say we'll call this creation events, and this is you're going to need to provide a function to this composable that will basically handle these creations. So what we'll do here for now is creation events, and that will receive whenever an event is triggered. This will know about it, and then maybe our view model can handle that. So we jump into the view model. Let's just create a new function for now. Handle creation event. Maybe I should learn to type properly. And we'll call that creation event. And then here I think what we could have is something like a when clause for the event, and then creation event. We could say when the event is name changed, we can change the name. So set product name. And this is cool because then we kind of remove all these functions for setting each fig. We could have them as a simple, we could refactor that even further, and tidy things up even more there. So that helps that. So now what will happen is in our fragment we're going to want to say dashboard view model dot so many functions. So handle creation event, and that'll be the event. That'll just pass that through, and then kind of what we can do in our content is then we can get rid of the name change and the categories change because they're not needed anymore. So we can delete those 2. Yeah, so we can delete those 2, and we have this single handle creation event. And we can do the same thing here. So when creation event is equal to categories changed, we can do the same thing. Pretty sure there's a categories function. Can't remember what it's called though. What did I call it? What's that store name? Okay, so it wasn't even there wasn't even one for the categories. So we'll make that afterwards. Create categories function. Cool. So we'll get back to that. Cool. So now we have this creations event. What we can do is where this was being provided, we can pass that through. I don't even know if we need these like nested calls anymore, but we'll tidy that up afterwards. So now we have this single function. Replace those 2 functions with this single one for creation events, and we're getting a bit tidier. Cool. So now for the creation content, we now again want this single function. We're not going to mark that as nullable because the test we can handle that single function in the test, so that's not an issue. It's mainly because all the other ones, it's getting a bit much for the test, so we don't need all of those. So I just want to get this kind of compiling and working. Again, there's still a lot going on. So what we're going to do here is now each composable will need a reference to the creation events. Callback. There's probably a way we can tidy this up afterwards, because if each one needs it, maybe there's a way to bring that together. For now we'll have the duplication break break some principles of dry, just to get things working. I don't want to change everything, and do it all nice, and then find out it doesn't work. There's a lot to tweak. So let's see if we can get this working. So my laptop's struggling. So we'll take the creation events. We'll pass that through. So now we've passed that through to our function, and that looks like it's not complaining anymore. And we'll do exactly the same thing. Just going to try and get the chat up for Twitch on my phone, because I was going to do that just in case anyone said anything. Cool. So now we're passing those creation events through, and what we can do in here is creation events, this trigger, name change, and do the value. Cool. That already feels a lot nicer to me. We have I guess having it strongly typed instead of just chucking a value to a specific function. We now have this properly defined way of the events that are supported, and I think that will make it much easier for us to test in the long run. I'm going to do the same thing here, except categories changed. I'm going to pass the selected items through, and that should be and that's not complaining, so I'm happy. Cool. So now what we should be able to do is do the same thing for the rest of them. So I'm just going to check that compiles and it doesn't complain, just so we should be sure everything's working before we move ahead. Nice. Okay, there, that touch state isn't working because I think we broke it recently. Cool, so the creation events is looking good. Let's have a quick look at doing the rest of them. So what else have we got? We got the frequency changed. So frequency changed. That is float. Positive are notes that the person can leave themselves. So why do they need that item? Kind of give them a moment to think why do I need to buy this? Do I need to make a purchase? Kind of thing. What benefits will this item give me? And then we're also going to do the same thing for the negative notes. That's again kind of the opposite of the positive one. So why don't I need this item? Can I do without it? We'll also have two more. So next step requested. That doesn't even need any arguments. Previous step requested, and then form completed. So that kind of should satisfy everything. Oh my god, this feels so good. We had to delete all those arguments. Wow. That's awesome. I feel really happy about that. Cool, so what we can do now is we can take a look at actually fixing the arguments. So we can delete all of these as well. And then we can delete almost all of these. Yeah. So we still need the state, we just don't need the events. Why is this? Oh, this can be an object, can't it? Nice. plenty. I think this was worth it. I think this was definitely worth it. And now we're probably going to get some compiler arguments come through. Complain. Yeah, there's going to be plenty. I'll make this a bit smaller. So, oh, we don't even need to pass, like, that's the cool thing now, because in some cases, like, we have to pass the for this we have to pass the on name change callback, and then also the next step triggered callback. And if we wanted to send another callback, like, that would just be quite annoying, because, you know, you could end up with 3 or 4 different things, and now we just have the single one. So that's really nice. A lot cleaner. A lot cleaner to work with. So now I'm just going to go through and replace everything to how it should be. So what we're going to do is, where we have this creation events, we're just going to add this to the functions that need that. So this form completed was replaced, so that should be that one. This frequency set composable was complaining, so we can change that as well. And you can already see now that there's, you know, this is a cool thing about doing these little refactors. We can already start to see a pattern in some of these calls. I think like a lot of these functions have a creation state, and then a lot of them have the creation event. So maybe in a future lesson that's an opportunity then come back and refactor it. It's easy to want to do that now, but trying to like rein it in and be like, let's get what we're trying to do done, and we can come back and improve things bit by bit. Not on any deadline here. So this is a frequency changed. So we can do the dot float. We can change that and remove that. Pretty neat. We can probably do a similar thing here. So creation events dot form completed. Don't need that. Nice. We can then, what else is complaining? Do the same thing here. Creation events. So that'll be next step. I think it was next step requested. Yeah. We can do the same again here. Creation events. Previous step requested. Here, what's complaining? Oh yeah, so the remind set composable, that doesn't have the remind days function anymore. Instead we need to say creation events. I can't remember remind length changed. Got extra parentheses there. With the days, again, we can remove that. A couple more things to names. Oh, we don't need that anymore. Cool. So again, we're going to make use of the creation events. We're going to call that next step requested. Nice. That's pretty cool. That's a lot tidier than it was on that. Should stop complaining now. Yeah, cool. So as you can see, we've managed to delete a lot of arguments from our functions. That's, you know, makes things a lot easier, a lot simpler to follow as well. Like, you know, if you want to send an event, you know that you use this events stream or function, and you know that exactly what's available. We've got a couple here that aren't being used yet. The functions originally weren't being used anyway, so we'll implement those another time. But what we can do now, if we can close this, get some more screen estate, is what we can do here is we can implement, add the remaining branches and handle those. So again, for now, what we're going to do is just call the functions that we already have in this view model, and then in future maybe that can be tidied up. So set remind days, then dot days. Do the same here. I don't even know if the positive. Set positives we do have them. So dot notes. these are just objects. They don't have any values, but we do have these functions. Navigate to next step. Navigate to previous step, and then when the form's completed, I can't remember what the function was called. Oh yeah, create belonging. So it doesn't do anything at the moment, just shows your progress, but that will send stuff to the API. So cool. So it feels like there's a lot going on there, and we could probably simplify that in future. I'm already thinking you could just have that wrap all of the stuff and make it a bit more simpler. But that feels good. I think that feels a lot better than what we had anyway. There you go. We can now remove all of those. Oh, that's so much cleaner. Yeah, I like it. Pretty happy at that. Good on time as well. I think ideally we'd have some tests for this. I think what we'll do over the next few streams is work at unifying this a bit and making it just tidying up a little bit, making things a bit clearer, and then we can add some tests for that maybe tomorrow, just to get it all nice and wrapped up. But that feels good for now. So just to recap, originally we had all of these. We had a collection of functions being passed through to the composables from the view model. We had about 8 functions. Those functions were then being passed to the composable, and then to the creation function, and then each function was being passed down to the composable that needed it. A lot of differentiation and a lot of code. And now we have this. We've created this concept of creation events, taken from the idea of TV by Chris Baines. And now we have a single event stream going to the composables, and then when those events are triggered, they're being passed to the view model, and the view model can handle those events to set the state. We'll come back to this tomorrow and Thursday and try and tidy up some more and try and see if we can tidy the code up a bit, but for now that feels a lot better than what we had. But yeah, any questions or comments, feel free to reach out, and yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll be back tomorrow. Yeah, have a great day.